Hey guys, I'm back with another video on the Norwood sawmill. A couple things to make your life easier, little tips and tricks if you want to call it that, things I've figured out that work, that help me. Hang out for a minute, tell you all about them. So I've had this sawmill, this Norwood LM29 sawmill, between 4 and 6 months. I can't remember exactly when I purchased it. Might even be a little bit longer than that. I have no idea. But I've done quite a bit of milling with it since I've got it. I've got a ton of boards stacked up over there for a greenhouse and a tree fort. There's another stack over there, stuff I've milled out. I milled out the stuff for my pump house, built it with it. Done a lot of work with this machine and I love it. It does a great job. But with any machine, there's always room for improvement. And I've figured out a couple things. Number one, first thing, the blades. They're great blades, but I was having a problem with the blades breaking. And I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't wrap my head around it. All these people talking about their sawmills and how they sharpen their blades and they get more life out of them. I'm like, I can't even sharpen my blades. They're broken. I'm not going to weld them back together and then try and make that work. Now the problem with the blades breaking, I believe, stems from inside here. You've got the sawdust that comes off the blade. You've got the water that lubricates the blade, combining and coming in here and packing up into a kind of a sludge. This stuff likes to stick in here. It's meant to come out these holes in the end, but not all of it does. And I don't know if drilling holes coming down through here would let more of it drop through, but I'm not going to do that quite yet. I have figured out, at least what I think is the problem with the blades breaking, is the sawdust packs up all around here. I mean, even on the back side up in here, it just packs in there. And if you don't clean it out, a piece of this sawdust will fall down eventually. The weight will get to it with the vibration. And I believe what's causing the blades to break is a good sized chunk of sawdust is falling on top of the blade right here and getting trapped between the blade and the wheel. This blade is stretched so tight right now, it's basically stretched to its limit. And that chunk of sawdust, whether it's the size of a marble? I don't know. I don't know how much it takes, but that going in through here could be enough more tension on that blade to make it snap. Now, since I've thought about this and kept these covers clean, basically cleaning them out in between each log, I haven't broken a blade and I've gone through 2. The first 3 blades I put on this machine, I snapped. It's the same tension as the first 3 blades. Everything's the same except for the fact that I'm keeping these covers clean. So if you're having a problem snapping these blades before they go dull, think about that. And take these covers off between logs and clean this area out really good. Just take I usually have a square sitting right up here. This little square for squaring up my logs. Just take it, kind of scrape it clean, knock it around a little bit, get all the sawdust out, put it back together. Takes you 30 seconds, could save your blade. One thing I really like about this machine is this measurement guide right here. It's a quick guide to cutting boards 2 inches thick, 1.5 inches thick, inch thick, 3/4 inches thick, 1 1/16, I believe that is, or from the bottom up to a certain thickness. I like this measurement system, but the problem with setting this blue line, it always wanted to be at an angle. It was hard to get this tight and not have this whole thing twist. And then you have an angle, and for people that are anal like me, you like to see things straight, you like to see them exactly dialed in. So what I did, it doesn't tell you to do this in the instruction manual, but I put another washer right back here. It tells you to put a washer between the plastic and the nut, grab yourself another washer and put it on there. When you tighten this down, it doesn't want to move as much. You can hold it and tighten it and it'll stay straight. That, for me, you don't have to do it if you're not as anal as I am about having a straight line. You can kind of guesstimate. Boards aren't meant to be cut within the millimeter, so this doesn't matter to a lot of people, but to me it matters. So I had to figure out something to do to fix that. For those of you that live in a colder climate, you're milling out wood, come out in the morning, you got a frozen line, frozen water in your bucket. Yeah, I've done that a few times. Not very fun. If you live in a warmer climate, it doesn't really matter. You leave water in it all the time if you want. But what I've started doing is disconnecting the hose down here. Since there's no hose clamp down here at the bottom, it just slides on. Disconnect your hose, put it in the bucket, turn the valve on, drain the water out. Make sure this hose doesn't have a big loop in it. Otherwise the water will stay in there and it'll freeze. Drain it in the bucket of water might freeze, you toss that out, get some fresh water. Before you put fresh water up here, grab a cup of hot water from your faucet inside and put that hot water in here, like the bottom little bit of it, maybe to the top of the Norwood sign. So the last tip I have for you right now, I like to keep my logs, the center of them, level with the deck. This is going to require you to shim one end of that log up, the small end of that log up. Now I have a piece of a stump, I guess you'd say, down at that end in the middle of my deck so that I can put a bottle jack in there and pick the logs up. Some of the bigger logs I'm not going to strain my back to pick up, so I use a bottle jack. Pick them up and take the difference from that end diameter to this end diameter. Say I got a 17 here and a 16 there, 1/2 inch underneath that end, and that keeps the center of your log level with the deck, which makes squaring a little bit easier. You don't have to, I guess. It depends on how anal you are with squaring up your logs and how much waste you want to have. But that's what I do, and these are just pieces that, they're pieces of scrap from milling out logs. They get buried in the sawdust, and I haven't cleaned out in here for a while, so some of them are buried down there. I just grab another one from the pile. So I hope this helps out with some of you out there having some of these similar problems. Let me know. Let me know if it helps. Let me know if there's some other problems you're running into. Maybe I'm having the same ones. I might have already thought of something. Maybe I'll sit down and think of what I can drum up, figure out some new fixes to this machine. No machine's perfect. I love this machine. It was a great price compared to some of the others that do the same thing. I wouldn't take it back for anything. Until next time, go make something.